Have you ever had that impulse of, I got to do it, I just got to do it perfect, or I can't do it perfect, so I just don't want to do it at all? Well, that is what's called perfectionism. And that's what we want to work on in this particular video, is helping people deal with, it's almost like an anxiety disorder. It's almost like at least a precursor to performance anxiety, where I have to do everything absolutely right, or I'm a failure. So if you've ever had those feelings and want to learn how to deal with them, this is the video to watch. Yoga Psych. Ancient answers for your current problems. Hi, I'm Brett, your favorite shrink, and welcome back to Yoga Psych. This is where we're learning about the psychology of yoga, how yoga can teach you better to understand yourself. And particularly, I'm going to teach you a kind of yoga today called karma yoga. It's a thing, really, it is. It's a thing. Check it out. Karma yoga. Well, most people don't understand what yoga is, period. So let's start with that. Yoga is a path. It's a way of finding truth or connecting you, yoking you to something greater, some true state like God, or your own true higher state of being as well. Karma, we always think of karma like, it's kind of like that law of you reap what you sow. Well, actually, in karma yoga, that is not what that means. Surprise! Karma yoga is about doing your absolute best at everything that you do. It's almost like your devotion to God, to something greater than yourself. And so we're going to talk about that, because that kind of sounds like I got to do everything perfect. I got to do everything right, or I'm going to disappoint God, or I'm going to be a failure of some kind, and even let down the boss. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about how yoga works, how karma works, and a little bit about how perfectionism comes into our lives. If you've not seen the videos I've done before, there's a great video I did on OCD, Understanding Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, and I take you through my closet. My closet is perfect. I have all the shirts all in a nice color coordination. I got long sleeve shirts. They're hung up on, I think it's like a medium wood hanger. I got my short sleeve polo shirts. They're all hung up in color coordination with, I think it's a light tan hanger with, I think it's a chrome hook. And then I have, what else do I have? I have my suits. They're all hung up with really dark hangers, dark wood hangers with dark trim. So everything has a special place for it. I got special places for my cufflinks. I have, everything is where it should be. Now we look at that and we could see maybe that's OCD. And in that video, check it out. It's not OCD, because it doesn't have pathology in it. It doesn't cause me problems. Where you have a mental illness is where you're doing something that is impairing your life, that you're doing something and it's actually harming you. Well, being organized and even doing things or wanting to do things perfectly isn't a problem in itself. It can be a problem, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about here. Personally, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to want to be your best and do your best with whatever you do. To try and strive for perfection isn't in itself a problem. It isn't in itself creating pathology. In fact, it can really help us, improve and grow, because we're working always to do more, to do better. Where perfectionism becomes a problem is, like I said a minute ago, it's how you score it. So I had a young guy. He's in college. He's working his master's degree in accounting. So it's a super highly competitive field. And he's feeling this incredible pressure. And the pressure is to do it perfectly. And guess what? He can't. We can't. None of us can do things perfectly. So what happens to him? He's trying. He's trying his best. He wants to do his best. But when it doesn't happen, he's crushed. When it doesn't happen, he's depressed. When it doesn't happen, he becomes despondent. And it's hard for him to even get motivated to do the rest of the stuff that he's supposed to be doing, because he couldn't do this one task or this one assignment that he had. It just didn't come out the way he wanted it. That's when it's a problem. When that kind of mentality is actually preventing him from moving forward and actually getting assignments done, because in perfectionism, if you can't do it perfect, you really just don't want to do it at all. Doing something that's average or doing something that's a B isn't an option. And that's where, again, perfectionism becomes a problem, because it has this binary score. The binary score is pass, I did it all perfectly, so I got, I'm good, or fail. It's a 0, 1, 0, 1. And that kind of scale is going to create problems, because nothing is actually perfect. So if I'm looking for perfection and I'm trying to do it all the right way, and something slips up, which is going to be most of the time, like we said, right? Then most of the time, most of the days, I'm going to be bummed. Most of the days, I'm going to be frustrated. Most of the days, I'm going to be disappointed. However, what would happen if my value, if my worth as a human being, if my self-esteem was set, it was locked? Doesn't mean it's super high, or it doesn't even mean it's super low. It's just locked. My self-esteem is what it is. And then the things I do in my life, the activities, the projects, the tasks that I take on, they can do well, or they could fail, or they could do something in the middle. If I detach my self-worth from my activities, then what happens is that I'm free. I am free to be me. And I'm even free to pursue perfection, to pursue wanting to be my best and do my best, because now there's not this binary score, because my self-worth isn't scored on how I'm doing or how I'm not doing, is the case for perfectionism may be. So now I'm actually freer to explore, to try new things, to do something different. A good example I think of as having a 2x4. If I took a 2x4, just a long piece of wood, and I put it down on the ground, maybe raised it up 2 inches off the ground, any of us could walk across that 2x4 back and forth pretty easily, because it's about this thick. It's wide enough for me to walk across. It's not a big deal. Now, however, what if I took that 2x4 and I elevated it 10 feet, 20 feet, 100 feet up in the air? Now what's going to happen? Well, now I'm worried about outcome. Now, if I slip off that 2x4, I'm going to get hurt. I could die. So all of a sudden, I can't walk on that 2x4. That 2x4 is just going to, no way, I'm not going to do it. Even though I've done it 50, 100 times when it was on 2 inches off the ground, I can't do it when it's 10 feet or 20 feet or 100 feet off the ground, because the outcome is too risky. And that's what happens in perfectionism. And that karma yoga comes in. Again, I talked about karma yoga in the beginning. karma yoga is a path. Yoga is a path. It's a way to finding my higher self. And it's a way of finding my higher self by really striving to do my best at everything and to make everything just kind of basically a service to God. And I'm just going to give myself over to whatever I'm doing. Now, to do that, however, to have that actually be successful and not become pathological, there's a really key element to karma yoga, and that is letting go of outcomes. You do your best because it is your best. You do your best because that's you kind of surrendering yourself, you giving yourself over, not being lazy, you dedicating yourself to something bigger than yourself, striving for something greater than just your normal. And in that striving, you're free because you don't have to worry about the outcome. In karma yoga, if things work out or don't work out, it's not my business. If I'm successful or I fail, it's not my business. If somebody likes me or doesn't like me, that's not my business. That should never change my behavior. I'm going to be kind to people. I'm going to love people. I'm going to serve people. I'm going to do my best in everything that I do because I want an outcome? No. That is not yoga. That is selfishness. That is materialism. I'm doing something for reward. And that's what creates perfectionism. But here, if I'm able to let go of rewards, let go of outcomes, and really surrender, that's not my job. I'm going to study for a test. I'm going to prepare myself for some assignment. And if I do good or do bad on that assignment, I got to let that go. I got to surrender that. And that really frees me. It frees me to be me because my value, my worth is set. And then I can do whatever I need to do. I can try whatever I need to try. And people can respond or not respond. I don't have to worry about that. That is freeing. And that frees us actually from the perfectionism. So there I can strive for perfectionism because the bad part of perfectionism is that perfectionism is a way of scoring myself. Perfectionism is a way that we use to evaluate our worth. And that is when perfectionism becomes the problem. Not striving, not wanting to do your best, that is not the problem. The problem is it is a reflection on me. But in karma yoga, that's not my job. That's not my responsibility. That's not my focus. So I can do my best, be my best, and then give it over. Now, I hope this was useful. I hope you got something out of it. You liked it. Like it. Make some comments. I'd love to hear your take on karma yoga, and perfectionism. I'm Brett, your favorite shrink, and thanks for watching Yoga Psych. Take care. Yoga Psych. Ancient answers for your current problems.